Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Coming up next, the younger half of the Fighting Johnsons. Chris will try to defend his title against a young boxer from Montreal with an interesting story to tell. Donaldson is a rookie at the Senior Nationals, and that fact is most unusual in a game where experience is so important. What goes through the mind of a novice at this level, accompanied by a veteran coach?
It's what I've been looking forward to all year. It's really exciting to be here, and I hope we can just, maybe pull off a surprise. I know there's a high percentage of competition, so you prepare yourself to be more fit for this competition than you would maybe a local competition.
Because it's the first national, the one thing that I really try to do with them is to not blow it all out of proportion. I have to try to make them understand that regardless of what the title of this tournament is called, once you enter the ring, it's going to be the same thing as any other fight you've ever had. There's going to be 4 corners, there's going to be a referee, there's going to be 4 ropes in the ring, and there's going to be another guy trying to take your head off. So basically, when it comes down to the brass tacks, it's going to be the same. So that's probably my number one concern, is that this doesn't intimidate them and bother them and add too much nervousness just because it's called the Nationals.
I mean, like, here I was among the best in Canada, and what stunned me most was, like, I was in the same room with most of these guys I saw on television at the Nationals last year, and I was saying, hey, I want to be there next year. So, it was a great feeling, and it was the same guys I saw winning last year.
One bout tonight, we go for the draw.
Number 3.
Number 3, Ron Donaldson, Quebec. We will wait to see. The luck of the draw is always the most dangerous thing. I always hope in any weight class with any guys that I've had at the Nationals, my main concern is that the best guys get split up, and that truly the finals will be a matchup of the 2 best fighters in that respective weight class in this country. That's my main concern coming in.
Is that it looks like a...
And the coach's fears were put to rest when Ron was drawn on the opposite side of champion Chris Johnson. But he would fight on the first night's card.
To be honest, I was very nervous. I mean, like, I've never been to this high level of competition before. And I knew I was up against the best in Canada. And I said to myself, you're here at the top with the best, you guys, just go ahead and perform.
And so the young man would fight for the first time at the Nationals, but he'd fight minus his personal coach in his corner. Russ Ambra also coaches the pros, which disqualifies him to coach at the Senior Amateur Championships.
I thought I had the first 2 rounds were pretty good. I started off the third round stronger, but then after during the 8 count in the early part of the third round, I was trying too hard after. Now, it's like I wanted to go for the knockout, and it reversed for me. Instead of being accurate with my punches, I was pretty sloppy. I was shooting wide punches between landing properly, and the round didn't end just because I wanted to.
Ron may not have been pleased with his third round effort, but his overall performance carried him to the semifinals.
The first thing that comes into your mind is this the one that they don't give to us, okay? That's the first thing you kind of think of, but, eventually you end up having a little bit of faith in the system, and you realize that something so one-sided, really, it's not going to happen to me this time, and I felt like they really couldn't take it away, especially not in Hull, and because the Hull people, they're real fight fans, and if they didn't like a decision, they'd sure let everybody know about it, and there might not have been a tournament for the rest of the weekend for all you know.
Ron wouldn't fight again for 40 hours, but at this level of competition, the caliber of boxing is far too high to afford time away from the gym.
You have a complete day off, so what you're trying to do is not to sit around and get lazy, just keep your body in tune,
So basically what you just want to do with that one off day is just make sure everything stays sharp, kind of develop your battle plan for the next fight. A little strategy, what you want to do a little pad work and stuff, 1 round of everything, round on the bag, round on the pads, little skipping, just basically so the kid can visualize exactly what he's going to do in his next bout.
And that next bout is the semifinal. A victory in this one, and the dream stays alive for the rookie at the Nationals.
I'm still nervous. I'm always nervous before a fight. And I'm thinking, hey, I made it this far. I want to just keep going, you know. I'll go through these fights and I'll try and do my best. Not to let up, you know. I came here to win, and I want to go against to try to win.
The one thing I specifically told Ron before going in there, look, don't expect to hit this kid and he'd drop in the fight more. This is going to be a tough fight. This guy's going to kick us. So just keep doing your thing and just do it for 9 minutes. And that's what he did different than in the first fight, was he went out there and fought for 3 minutes a round, for 3 minutes, increased the pace, and didn't worry about landing one shot and then backing off our guy. The guy was still there. Well, the one thing I tell my fighters, if you hit a guy with your best shot and he's still standing, what do? You hit him again.
And hit him again he did. Enough times for a unanimous semifinal win. Now the 20-year-old from Chateauguay would enter the Lion's Den. What does he know about one of this country's best fighters, Chris Johnson?
What everyone else knows, that, you know, he's in the top 10 in the world. He's been Canadian champion for the past couple of years now. And some people say he's unbeatable, but in my opinion, no one is unbeatable. And I'm not saying I'm going to make some miracles tomorrow, but I'm just going to go there and do my best performance.
We're back live for the 75-kilogram final. And you know, whatever happens from this point on, for this special young man, it must surely be a dream realized to have come this far. We'll be back with the championship final. But in the 75-kilogram class, middleweights, and Chris Johnson in the red trunks up against Ron Donaldson in the white trunks. And we're going to have to put a seatbelt on the coach sitting next to me, Russ Amber, because Ron Donaldson is your boy.
Yeah, since he was 75 pounds, 11 years old, I've been coaching this guy for 8 years. He's just one of the sweetest guys you'll want to meet, but we're going to be objective.
Donaldson in the white trunks, you're going to be objective?
Yes.
He's going to try, folks.
I got to be for the betterment of Ron. You know, I mean, I want him to go out there and win this as bad as anybody, but, you know, I got to call what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong.
Chris Johnson has a ton of experience, even though he's only 19 years of age. Ranked 6th in the world, Commonwealth Games gold medalist. But I would think he has to take this fight seriously against almost a total unknown like Ron Donaldson.
Well, you know, sometimes it's hard to get up for a fight like that when you're meeting somebody that you don't know. But I'm not worried about Ron in terms of, he doesn't have the tools of a Chris Johnson or the experience or the reputation that a Chris Johnson has. But what he does has is awkwardness, a lot of heart, and a heck of a chin. And that's what we're hoping to bank on to get us out of this fight, because Ron will just keep throwing punches without worrying about getting tired. He'll be strong in that 3rd round.
They are throwing a ton of punches at each other. And standing in count against Ron Donaldson. You didn't want to see that, coach.
That I don't think was merited either, Steve. I think that's the reputation of Chris Johnson over the referee, and Ron not being known by anybody. But they were both exchanging there, and nobody really landed anything super solid that merited the 8 count.
Somehow I thought you'd say that. A little bit of a slip there on the part of Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson's brother won a final earlier in this competition. So they're hoping to make Canadian boxing history by being the first brother combination to win back-to-back Canadian championships.
Like when I told you earlier that I wasn't worried about Ron's chin. Ron is Otis Grant's #1 sparring partner, so I know exactly what he can do in there. That's the least thing that I'm worried about is Chris's punching power.
Well, we know that Otis Grant can punch. You said before the fight that Ron had to out-busy Chris Johnson. Is he doing that in the 1st round?
Well, I think we knew that in the 1st round Chris was going to be very strong. We expected that. And now we're going to have to win the fight is round 2 and 3. So we're hoping Chris fires his bolt in this 1st round and comes back for the 2nd and 3rd.
Johnson in the red trunks, Donaldson in the white trunks. 1st round action, 75 kilograms left. Ron looks a little tired.
Looking and being is not the same thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, I guarantee you he'll be there for the 6 minutes remaining after this round. Ron lands the right hand.
And there goes the bell to end round 1, and the coach says Johnson's loud.
Feel good? Take a deep breath. Open your mouth. Take another.
Now they were both in the middle of an exchange here. I'd like to see where that punch was that merited the standing 8 count. Nothing has landed on either part right now. Right hand by Ron. Left hook by Johnson. That was it. See, that's the reputation of a Chris Johnson being the Commonwealth champion, being number 6 in the world. The referees are watching him, expecting him to do the damage.
Shoot! Around the jab, everything.
Round 2 in the 75-kilogram class, the middleweight. Chris Johnson with the red trunks against Ron Donaldson, the relative unknown, the 20-year-old from Chateauguay in the white trunks. Donaldson coached by our very own Russ Amber, so he has a vested interest in this fight. Good left hand, and again, it'll be a standing 8 count against Ron Donaldson.
5, 6, 7,
and you're not disputing that one.
No, a good clean shot. He feinted a left jab and threw a left hook.
Johnson, the 19-year-old from Kitchener, a student. I agree. I don't think that was needed. I don't think that was necessary.
6, 7, 8.
But then I'm not in the ring, I'm not the referee, and he's the one that makes those calls. The referee is Morgan Williams. He saw it differently than I did. Donaldson coming back.
Yeah, that second 8 count wasn't merited.
Another 8 count against your fighter. Johnson a little frustrated. Taking his feet on the canvas. And this one is all over in the second round. Chris Johnson, as expected, wins the 75-kilogram class, the middleweight, against Ron Donaldson. Before we meet the brothers Johnson, here's what happened in the 63.5-kilo final between national team member Mark LeDuc and Fitzroy Vanderpool. This one was a dandy. 2 dynamic fighters who went toe-to-toe, with Kingston's LeDuc coming out on top by the narrowest of decisions, 3-2. Chris and Greg Johnson, the brother combination, have just made Canadian boxing history here in Hull. They're the first brother combination to win back-to-back Canadian titles. How does it feel, Greg?
It feels great. It's always nice for, to win in an individual sport. When you win a medal, you can't carry on and cheer that you're the best for days and days. But when you win this with a team sport like hockey, you can carry on for weeks and say, yeah, we're the champions. We won. Remember that? But my brother and I are doing it together now. We can be modest in the public, but together we can say, yeah, we're the best.
Chris, did you know you were going to make history?
Well, yeah, we definitely did because, we work together hard, and when you work hard, you achieve to be number 1, and that's what my brother and I are, number 1.
I want to know who's the better fighter, you or Chris?
We don't know ourselves. we don't spar together, for entertainment of others. Nor do we. Why should we beat up each other?
Chris, could you take him?
He's taught me everything I know. I couldn't take him, no way. Well, let's just say that the student hasn't overpassed the teacher yet, maybe.
Congratulations to you both.
Someday he will, though.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. we return, the fight we've been looking forward to, the showdown for it all, the 71K class between the kid and the veteran. The new boxing pride of Quebec, Stéphane Ouellette, beating East Vancouver's Manny Sobel. The final in the 71-kilogram class between 19-year-old Stéphane Ouellette and Manny Sobel. This is the one we've all been waiting for. Stéphane Ouellette in the white trunks against Manny Sobel in the blue trunks. And it should be a dandy, Russ.
This is the matchup of the weekend, no doubt. This is the super fight of the Nationals.
Now this is for the 71-kilogram title. The 19-year-old, the star boxer from Quebec against the 22-year-old from East Vancouver, British Columbia.